Okay, welcome everybody to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and tonight joining me is Jason Cameron. We're going to break down a bunch of different sports tonight. Thanks a lot for your time tonight, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing great, Darren. How you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah, it's been a little crazy here with with this smoke. Haven't been going outside too much. Don't want to get it infecting my lungs and having more problems than we have with the COVID. So I've been just spending a lot of time in the studio and doing a lot of work here. How's it been affecting you?
Well, it's hard because you don't want to cough anymore, right? Or sneeze, or cough or sneeze. So yeah. So for me, I try to just duck around a corner and cough hidden away from people so that people don't think he's got COVID. Get him out of here right now. I don't want people freaking out. It's because of the smoke and the smog and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hey, we've had to endure months of COVID, and now we've got to endure this. And I just had a few little walks around my neighborhood in the early stages of these fires, and I could immediately feel it in my throat, feel it in my lungs a little bit, and I was like, "Oh wow!" I was quite surprised. And then I heard we have the poorest air quality in the world right now, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, that is saying something, especially when you got countries like China that burn coal, and our air quality is worse than that. That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So hoping that this rain that kicked in today and some of the winds they're expecting will blow it away and we don't have to deal with this anymore. So, but this was a fun weekend for me. I definitely overdosed on football. NFL's back. That game on Thursday, it didn't whet my appetite enough. I found it quite boring. Definitely hard to watch NFL games without fans, I find. But this Sunday, there was so many games, fast and furious. I kind of didn't focus on that as much and enjoyed myself a lot. I liked a lot of the games, and it turned out pretty good. How about yourself?
I thought, for the most part, because of the situation that every professional sports league is in, obviously, and everybody else is in, I thought that the quality of the games was really good. I thought the players they showed up and they showed up well. But at the same time, I think you can expect, unfortunately, a lot more injuries kind of going forward because guys haven't actually had a chance to actually play and get their reps like in the preseason as they would. So that might be an issue going forward, but you know what? It's the NFL. You're always going to have injuries and such. And just like you for Thursday, that didn't do it for me because you just saw Mahomes just do this. I'm going to smash you into the ground because I'm better than you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's definitely gunning for a second straight title, and wanting to prove that he's the best player on the planet. Lamar Jackson obviously won MVP of the league last year, but Patrick Mahomes proved that he's probably the best player in crunch time, and winning a title for Kansas City, first time in their history. He doesn't look like he lost a step in this offseason.
No, man. And also, too, Kansas City realizes what they have on their hands. That's why they said, hey, back up that Brinks truck. Give him all of that. And do we have another one, by the way? We do? Great. Give him that one as well.
No kidding. Yeah. Wow. $500 million. I knew, I think we knew that it was coming eventually, but when you hear those kind of numbers, it's still pretty damn shocking and an incredible amount of money given out. I think a lot of attention was put on the obviously Tom Brady leaving New England and going to Tampa Bay in this offseason. That seemed to be one of the biggest stories. He was facing Drew Brees this weekend, and you mentioned it was old man against old man, and I think the old man Brees, showed that he's maybe a little sharper, a little better. It was a good performance by him. Not so good a performance by Tom Brady right out of the chute.
Well, you know what? Like Brady, I got to give him a little bit of leeway. Like, it's a new team, it's a new offensive scheme. It's going to take him some time to get it all down pat. He still could throw the ball downfield. He showed that, but then also too, he showed some of the short passes he was completely off. So some of his stuff is going to tighten up because of the ultimate competitor that he is. He will tighten that up. And as the season goes along, I would expect that the offense will come together, will look better and better as the weeks go on, for sure. But then again, you know what? You had to fight. You had to play against the Saints. The Saints are a really good team. Yeah.
It wasn't the performance that I guess they hoped for, but you're right. It's moving to a new team, new offensive scheme. I was surprised they only threw the ball to Evans twice. He's been such an incredible asset for that team for many years, and they didn't seem to utilize a lot of the things that you would have thought they would have. But it's only one game, so I'm sure they'll make some changes, and going into the rest of the schedule, they'll look a lot better. Cam Newton, though, replaced Brady, and he looked great. He had 75 yards rushing on 12 attempts. It was the most attempts ever by a New England quarterback, and 75 yards was more than Brady had in the 2018-2019 season for the whole year. So it's a new weapon that Belichick has, and it seemed to be pretty impressive performance by Newton. He looked great.
I was impressed by the fact that obviously Belichick is a genius. We all know this, and that he tailored the offense to his new quarterback's skill set, so that he has a lot more play action and a lot more like offensive feints, misdirection plays where it looks like it's going this way and it's going the other way. I thought that was incredibly, obviously, astute of him to do that, to make sure that he actually has a different offense for a different player. And he's done that well, and looks like Cam has taken to it well.
Yeah.
And it was a very simplified offensive scheme for him, so they didn't make it over the top, clearly, so that, he could just work within the offense and try to get his feet set. And that worked, clearly. That worked for him. So it was good.
Yeah, he looked great. Russell Wilson had a fantastic day, 31 of 35, 322 yards and 4 touchdowns, and a big win over Atlanta. Definitely seems like Russ is always on point, able to, keep chugging along, playing great. I was impressed. I watched that whole game, and he was fantastic the whole day.
No, Russ is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, clearly. And I love the fact that he made sure that his team, his offense, at least on the offensive side of the ball, made it known that we have to place emphasis on scoring early. We have to place emphasis on getting points on the board right away. And you could tell that was a thing in this game, and he wants to obviously continue that for the rest of the season. And if they can, I think he feels, and I believe the team feels, that they will do a hell of a lot better than they even did last year, because of the sense of urgency that they have now to score the football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, smart observation there. Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins moved teams, and we talked about that quite a bit, you and I. He had 14 catches, which was a career high, 151 yards. Kyler Murray must be really excited to have such an incredibly potent weapon as his wide receiver 1, and Larry Fitzgerald as number 2. Pretty incredible performance in your debut.
I know a quarterback that would be like, man, I wish I still had that guy on my team. Man, that'd be pretty sweet. That'd be so cool. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten blown out the way that we did. Oh, wait, we don't need him. Forget it. I'm happy to see that DeAndre Hopkins is doing well and is flourishing in a new environment. And then also, too, how could you not flourish when the other guy on the other side of the field is Larry Fitzgerald? He might not be getting double teamed nearly as much. And he's just like, oh, man, there's just so much room now. This is fantastic. This is great. I see big things for him this year, bigger things for Kyler Murray. Just looking at it going, would you look at what I got? Would you look at it's like Christmas come early for Kyler Murray. Christmas came early, and this is fantastic. This is great.
Yeah.
I expect good things from Arizona this year, for sure.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, so great. Kyler Murray is so exciting to watch. Just has so many weapons to utilize as at his disposal, as well as he's got speed. He can move out of the pocket and get a lot of yards and when he throws, he's got a really accurate arm and he kind of just feels like a younger version of Russell Wilson to me and I see that Arizona is going to go really far now that they've, secured such an incredible weapon for him. And, it just really seems like, the sky's the limit for this team.
Yes, and then that incredible weapon, they didn't really have to give up a lot to get him, which is kind of amazing. So, yeah, man, I agree with you 100%. The sky's the limit. And hopefully Kyler can turn into a quarterback as good as Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
But we can see.
Yeah, we'll see. Aaron Rodgers looked fantastic, had a really amazing performance. It seems like they can just keep moving different pieces in for him, and he doesn't slow down at all. Just a really, really amazing, solid performance from Rodgers.
Yeah, because like Rodgers, that to a certain respect kind of reminds me of Brady. As long as you have that guy in your offense, you can just put anybody else around him, and he'll just sling that football around and make sure it gets around to who it needs to get to. So the offense just keeps chugging away. Rodgers looked fantastic, as he always does, and the Green Bay is going to be a problem, I think, this year going forward.
Yeah. They said yesterday was the first time in NFL history that 5 former Pro Bowl quarterbacks were starting the day with a new team, and so all 5 guys changed teams. It was a really amazing offseason for that. Brady, obviously, we talked about. Teddy Bridgewater moved teams and is in Carolina now. They had a loss. Phillip Rivers took a loss in his debut with Indy, and then the 2 guys that won were Tyrod Taylor and Cam Newton. Tyrod looked great with the Chargers, and it seems like that was a smart move on their part getting him.
Yeah, Tyrod looked great. He looked fantastic, actually. It looks like he's actually going to fit their offensive scheme. Unfortunate injury, though, that happened on their defensive side of the ball with their linebacker going down with that crazy injury, because it looked like he just landed awkwardly and unfortunately broke his leg. And that's what I mean, where you're going to see more plays like that than you normally would. I think that kind of thing is going to happen a little bit more regularly this year because of the fact that you just haven't had the reps in. It's unfortunate, but I think that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, it was. Marlon Mack tore his Achilles tendon, and he'll be out for Indy now, the season-ending injury, they think. Dallas Cowboys suffered 3 major injuries. A guy broke his collarbone, and 2 guys had serious leg injuries. So looks like 3 guys are out there. Dallas didn't look too strong against the Rams in that new stadium. The new stadium impressed me. $5 billion price tag, though. It was $3 million more than any other stadium that's ever been built in North America. It was, I don't know why it ended up costing so much, but pretty impressive. Except no fans, it didn't have the atmosphere that you would have liked.
Yeah, and also too, none of the fans got to really take in the luxury suites. Because I got to tell you, $5 billion stadium, those luxury suites must be sweet. Those must be so good. And Jerry Jones must be thinking to himself, so cool that nobody's using it. So great.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But you know what? Luckily with all of the owners, thank goodness the TV network deal is so good that they don't actually have to worry about that. But back to the game, though, St. Louis did look great. Jared Goff was good. Was good enough to win that game by 3 points, 2017. And well, you know what, Big D. Hopefully, they can kind of start getting their stuff together, because they've had to franchise tag Prescott, and I don't know if that's going to affect him going forward. I'm sure he's a professional, but we'll see. Like I'm kind of curious to see how Dallas plays for the rest of this year.
Yeah. Well, there was a big decision that Mike McCarthy made. They were marching down the field, and he decided to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of kicking a game-tying field goal, and they didn't make the first down. He's being heavily criticized today for the move, and I can see Jerry Jones fuming this week. Yeah, do you think already there might be some friction between the owner and the head coach?
Well, it's Jerry Jones. He expects nothing but the best, and you not to make that kind of mistake as the head coach. So he's pretty unforgiving there. We'll see how it goes for Mike. As long as Mike wins, Jerry doesn't have a problem. But if you start losing, then Jerry has a big problem.
Exactly. Yeah. He's pretty tough on his coaches, and we'll see. Yeah, it was a strange move on McCarthy's part. They lost by only a field goal, like you mentioned, and it didn't seem to work out very well. In that game, Aldon Smith played for the Cowboys, suited up for his first game in 5 years, and had a big sack. Must have been totally incredible for his friends and his family and all his teammates to see a guy who hasn't played in 4 full seasons, to come back and have an impact right away.
Oh yeah, of course, man. Because like I think there was even the possibility that he might never step onto a football field ever again. And so for him to come back, to go through all the adversity that he had, and for him to come back the way he did with the sack and everything else, I hope the man does fantastic this year, as a breakout year, and all props to him, man. Like, because for anybody to come back from that and to do what he did on the field, awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, super impressive. The number 1 overall pick, Joe Burrow, had his debut with Cincinnati. Played okay, but they took the loss. Their kicker missed a 31-yard field goal that ended up proving to be the deciding factor why they didn't win that game. But what did you see in Joe Burrow's game?
Well, I saw a rookie. You know what I mean? Like I saw glimpses of greatness, and then I saw mistakes that a rookie would make. You know, like him rushing the ball, him trying to force passes and stuff that he shouldn't force. But that, you know what? All that stuff comes with time. That comes with time, wisdom, and reps. More importantly, reps. Because for any of the rookies right now, it's going to be hard for them this year, because they haven't gotten the reps. You know, they're only getting what they can do in practice. No preseason or anything else like that. So it's gonna be a very steep learning curve for all of these guys going forward.
Yeah. I mentioned Cincy's kicker missing a field goal. Cleveland's kicker missed a field goal and an extra point. He got fired today. They brought in a new guy. I think Cleveland's got a lot bigger problems than their kicker, though. They looked horrible.
Yeah, they didn't look good. I wish I could say more about it, but no, man, no, they looked horrible. They looked horrible.
Yeah.
And it's funny that they got rid of the kicker as quickly as they did, because you know what that tells me? He wasn't very good even in practice.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I heard that the Cincinnati kicker, when he missed the field goal, he immediately looked around and then realized he better fake an injury, because you can't cut a guy when he's injured. So he might have thought, "Uh-oh, that's it. I better quickly figure out a way I can stay on the team for a few more weeks anyway."
Yeah, exactly. I pulled my hammy. I pulled a Michael Johnson. My hammy.
Exactly. That's hilarious. Yeah. So Monday Night Football is currently on. Pittsburgh it has a 26-16 lead over the Giants. A couple minutes left in the fourth quarter. Looks like Pittsburgh's going to win. Ben Roethlisberger coming back after a serious elbow injury, and he looked a little shaky in the first half, but seems to have pulled it together. I see his stats here: 21 to 32, 229 yards and 3 touchdowns. So really nice that he's been able to come back after such a massive injury to his elbow.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, Big Ben. You know what? He's tried, tested, and true. Like he's gonna come through when he should come through. Yeah, he's just like everybody else. He hasn't had the reps that he needs to, but he has the experience, and then he can lean on that experience and again get his stuff together as he normally would, because like he's a Pro Bowl quarterback, you know, like and when you're that good for a reason. So
yeah.
Yeah, not a surprise.
They have a doubleheader tonight for Monday Night Football. The game after this one is the Titans and the Broncos, and they handed a huge $118 million 4-year deal to Tannehill in the offseason, as well as they gave $50 million for 4 years for Jadeveon Clowney. Two high ticket items, obviously, very, very big money, and they've got Derrick Henry. Do you think the Titans will go far this year with those three?
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't know if I'm sold on Tannehill. I know that you gave him a lot of money. He's really appreciative of that. Like, he really likes that part. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if he's a franchise quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he's good enough to get them over the hump so that they make it into the playoffs and maybe get through the first round. We're going to see. We're going to find out. I just don't know if he has that in him. Maybe he does. Maybe with all that money, he just goes, well, now I gotta put up. So we'll see. But I know this. They got one heck of a running back, so they can lean on Derrick Henry as much as they need to. That guy will always come through.
Yeah. They'll be facing the Broncos tonight. Broncos have actually shut down Derrick Henry in almost all the games that he's ever faced them. But they are missing Von Miller, who suffered a very serious ankle injury. Could be season-threatening. They're going to miss him. But Denver's defense is usually just amazing and really good at stopping the run. So I expect it's going to be tough sledding for him tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Denver's defense was one of the tops in the league last year, and but huge blow not having Von Miller there as one of their defensive leaders on that side of the ball. So, but I'm sure that Denver will just keep treading, keep pushing on, and they'll shore up what they need to in the absence of Von Miller.
Yeah. Well, I'm super happy the NFL's back. There was a lot of worry that they wouldn't be able to pull this off, not being in a bubble, not being able to keep the coronavirus out. But so far so good. A nice opening weekend, and I'm excited. I'm glad it's here. I'm looking forward to many more weeks ahead.
Yes, I am too as well. And I'm going to be honest. I know the pandemic is obviously bad, but the situation that we're now in, where I get to choose whatever sport I want to watch, that's never happened before. First time. That's the first time, man. So I can watch either hockey, basketball, football, and baseball too. Like, it just goes on and on. Yeah, I'm pretty happy, man. I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy. Quite fortunate.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's just so great. There's so many choices. It's been incredible, so fun. I'm enjoying it a ton. I want to mention our partners and sponsors before we go any further. We are working with Verbero, a hockey equipment and apparel company. They're an industry leader in technology, performance, and value, and they're featuring the Mercury V350 stick, which is only 350 grams, the lightest composite stick on the market. Amazingly durable, incredibly powerful, and lightweight. We're also working with Forever Living. This is the aloe vera company. They grow and manufacture aloe vera-based products for health and beauty. And aloe vera is really celebrated for its soothing, cooling, and moisturizing properties. And you'll be able to find out a lot of details about Verbero Forever Living at www.completesportsmedia.com. There'll be some links there, and you can save some money if you want to purchase any products through the website. So thanks to our partners and sponsors. Why don't we turn to basketball now? Starting to get down to the last teams, and yesterday there was an incredible game between Denver and the LA Clippers, and Denver was able to come back down 19 points and force a seventh game. Jamal Murray and Jokic looked really fantastic, and they've pushed the Clippers to the brink. Do you think they can pull off this upset?
Well, anything can happen in Game 7. And I got to say, my man, the Joker, is balling. The last 2 games, man, that dude has been playing out of his mind. So, if I'm the Clippers, I'm a little bit worried. Actually, I'm a lot worried. It was never supposed to get to a Game 7. But Denver showed an incredible amount of heart, being down 3-1 twice and being able to force a Game 7 twice. That's incredible. That's incredible. And especially with the fact that they were down 19 and they came back to win by almost the same amount. You know what I mean? So that is wow. That's all I got to say. It's just wow, man. Like I am super impressed with how well the Denver has played, how they've come together as a team and just said, you know what? Nah, we're not going out like that. Not going out like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so super impressive. Wow, this team has so much heart, so much resiliency. They've proved that in the Utah series, and now they've really shocked the world. And I think most people thought it was going to be the Clippers and the Lakers. The Lakers have already punched their ticket, but we'll see if Denver can pull it off. It would be incredible. I think a lot of people are hoping for the Lakers and Clippers being such titans this year, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pull this off. They seem to be rattled, and they just don't have answers for Jokic or some of the other guys that come in and step up every game.
Well, you know what? It might be time for Kawhi to just I guess I'm going to have to put my cape on, be Superman, and take the damn game over. And he can do that. We've seen him do it before. He can do it again. I just don't know if he needs to do that with this team. I think other guys who haven't really shown their true colors need to step up, like Lou Williams hasn't had a great series, and he's due for a breakout. Montrezl Harrell has been good in spots, but not good throughout the entirety of the series. They have other people that they can rely on other than Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. But those two obviously still need to be Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And then maybe more importantly for this Game 7, maybe Kawhi Leonard just goes, well, I guess I'll take care of it. Thank you very much. But we'll see. We'll see, man. Because Denver is not an easy out, obviously. Jamal Murray and Jokic seem to have found their step and their stride in this series. And it's going to be a great Game 7. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. How should Raptors fans feel? Obviously, it hurts when your team's eliminated no matter what. But do you think they got as much as they could get out of this group and, really had a great showing as the NBA restarted after COVID?
I say Raptors fans should be proud, incredibly proud of the team for the way that they battled, the way that they hung in together, the way that they came together and coalesced as a team. Like, goodness, they lost one of the premier players in the league, and they were still that good. And as far as I'm concerned, anybody could have won that series. That's how close Boston and Toronto were. That's how close in skill set, quality level, all of that. Anybody could have won that series. And they have nothing but to grow upon that. And Pascal Siakam did not have a great series. He'll learn from this, and he will get better. I think sky's the limit for Toronto. Maybe bring in a couple more pieces, but I'm going to be honest. I love the team the way it is. I don't think they should change anything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think they should change anything. They should just look at the team, know that their guys are going to grow, they're going to get better, and look forward to the future, man, because their future is bright.
What do you think happened to Siakam? Was it just the pressure of trying to be the guy to replace Kawhi Leonard? Do you think he just couldn't live up to that expectation?
Well, I think there was some of that, but more importantly, for the fact that he's just stepped into the superstar role, and it's a different role altogether, especially in the playoffs. It takes time to get to that point in your career. It just takes time. It takes time to develop that mentality, not just the skills, but more the mentality than anything else. And once he gets that, once he's there, and plus on top of that, with now that he has the playoff experience, he can build upon that. It just takes time. And he's a young player, you know what I mean? So he's not no Luka Doncic, because there's only one dude like that. He's not that guy, all right? It's going to take him some time to get into it and get into the swing of things. But he's going to get there.
What do you expect we're going to see in this Miami-Boston series?
A dogfight. Huge dogfight. Like just a massive, massive dogfight. And Jimmy Buckets is going to be right there in the middle of it saying, oh, no, now you got to deal with me. This is going to be great. Like, I honestly, I think this is, I'm going to say it, I think this is Miami Heat's series to lose because they're playing that well. And I know Boston is right there. They got a great team. They are missing a piece because Gordon Hayward is no longer with them. But like the Miami Heat, dude, oh, man, they are playing really, really well. And they got a couple of guys that they can lean on with Goran Dragic, Jimmy Buckets, and Bam. And then you got all those shooters all over the place. Yeah, they're a handful, my friend. They're a handful.
Yeah, they sure are. Boston's really deep, but I feel like, this might be Miami's year to take it all the way. And Jimmy Butler did move around quite a bit in the last few years, trying to find a fit, and it looks like he's found it. And if he keeps playing the way he's been playing, I think he can lead them to a final here. So I'm excited about that series. I think these two teams are super evenly matched, and it's going to be, like you say, a really, really big dogfight. There have been some people wanting that it will be Boston and the Lakers because they have so much rich history against each other, and you'll be able to see a lot of really great footage of the golden years and all those days. But I don't know. I don't know if it's aligning like that right now.
Yeah, like that would be nice. In a fairy tale ending, like, oh my God, it's Boston. Like, nah, man, no. I don't think it's gonna go down like that at all, man. I think whoever the Lakers play, whether it be Clippers or Nuggets, they're gonna be in it, and it's gonna be hard for them to get past whatever team that is to the finals. And then with Boston and the Miami Heat, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that because Jason Tatum has arrived. He is now here. And same with Jaylen Brown. Both those dudes are that good. All right. And I don't know if Miami actually has an answer for either of them. But then again, on Miami's side, I don't know if Boston has an answer for Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo. So, it's going to be a great series, man. It's going to be a really good series.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. Shocking news today out of Houston. Mike D'Antoni deciding to leave the team and move on. I was really surprised. I'm not sure if the Houston ownership and management told him, you step down before we fire you, or he decided to leave. I thought it was an ideal situation for him because they had done that small ball attack and they were, putting up dozens upon dozens of threes all the time and playing the type of ball that he seems to always like to play. So were you shocked by the news as much as I was?
Yeah, of course, because ownership bought in. They said, get rid of Clint Capella. We don't need a big guy anymore. We don't need any big guys. So if ownership buys into that extent, and now you got these guys on the hook in their contracts for like a couple years, well then, what do you mean you're gonna leave? Like, you created this. Like, what are we gonna do with this team right now, right? And so I am a little bit shocked, but maybe I shouldn't be shocked because of what happened to them against the Lakers. The Lakers showed it's like, well, if you play the defense on these guys and you run them off the three-point line, well, what do you have left? Yeah, not much. And the other thing is with the Lakers, they showed playoff defense is so different than the regular season defense. And Houston, they managed to turn into an opportunistic defense. They managed to convert into that. But then the last couple of games against the Lakers, it's almost like they said, you know what? Let's go back to how we played defense at the beginning of the season, which is we didn't play defense at all. I don't know what happened to their defense. There was times where the lanes would just open up and the guys were just doing layup drills. It was ridiculous. And so if you got a team that doesn't play defense in the playoffs, no matter how offensively talented they are, you're not going to win. No. You're not going to win. So
true, yeah. Do you see him being a fit for the Sixers open position?
Oh, man. Yeah, maybe, but he would radically change that team. And also, too, one of those two guys would leave, Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. But I think if D'Antoni were to be picked up, I think he gets rid of Joel Embiid and he keeps Ben Simmons because he's a player that more fits his style than Joel Embiid does. So, and I don't know if ownership goes, wait a second, I don't know if we want to do that, So, it would be interesting to see where he ends up. But yeah, I would love to know exactly what happened behind the scenes with him and the ownership. I'd love to know that, but I guess that's probably something we'll never find out.
Yeah, hopefully he writes a book one day and we can read it and figure that out because it was one of the most shocking things that's come out of the bubble. Did not see him leaving that team. I thought even though they got four straight losses to the Lakers in that series, they had a great year. They played above their heads in a lot of ways and employed a really exciting style and I think it had an opportunity to beat many teams, maybe not the Lakers, but there was a lot of other teams that I think they could have easily beat. And he had convinced the ownership and management to, go with his style. And it was fun. It was pretty successful. But for him to leave, I just didn't see that coming. So it shocked the world, shocked me big time. We'll see where he lands in this off season. He's a very valued coach, so I'm sure he'll land somewhere pretty soon.
Yeah, and also too, I'm curious to see. So now, what do you do with that team? Like, who are you going to get to coach that team now? Because that was specifically built for that coach's style, and nobody else does it that way. Nobody. So, I guess good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. The only other guy I could have seen that fitted perfectly would have been Steve Nash.
Yeah, there you go. But he's already with the Brooklyn Nets, and KD's kind of telling him what to do, and he's kind of saying, KD, well, maybe try this. It's like, no, son. Just give me the ball. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So, well, looking forward to Game 7 tomorrow. Obviously, Game 1 of the Miami-Boston series also goes tomorrow. So, onwards and upwards. We'll see how that Game 7 shakes out, and then on into the conference finals and starting to see who's going to emerge as the guys that are going for the title. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the games coming up this week. Why don't we turn to the UFC and focus a little bit on the card that happened this past weekend. The main event was Michelle Waterson against Angela Hill, and it was a really exciting fight. These girls both put it on the line for 5 full rounds, and Waterson ended up getting the split decision. Super impressive. Both girls really deserved a lot of accolades. I really enjoyed the fight.
Yeah, the ladies brought it, man. Brother, the ladies brought it. That fight reminded me of Rose and Andrade. That's how good this fight was. That I'm watching the fight and I'm like, well, they're going tit for tat. You punch me a little bit and kick me a little bit, and I punch you and I kick you a little bit. You take me to the ground, and I take you to the ground. All I can say is this. By the 5th round, I knew whoever won that 5th round, whoever had just a little bit more left in the gas tank won the fight. And to me, it was Michelle Watterson. Michelle Watterson just had just that little bit extra to give in the 5th round. And that was it. That was the difference. Because I believe Angela Hill had 1 and 2. Then I think Michelle Watterson had 3 and 4 with her takedown in round 3. And then actually her stand-up was more dominant in round 4 than Angela Hill's was. And so round 5 was like, well, winner take all. And Michelle Watterson managed to eke it out just barely.
There was 235 significant strikes in the fight. They both set records for the most significant strikes they had ever done. Watterson tried constantly to take Hill down and was having a really hard time. I think she landed maybe her 13th attempt. I thought Hill really had the answer to stuff those takedowns and probably she looked really fantastic. In those first couple rounds, do you think she gassed a little bit? Is that what happened, or was Watterson just coming on and figuring her out?
I think Watterson was coming on and figuring it out, and I think Watterson definitely had her second win, so to speak, in the fight, more so than Angela Hill did. Because I could see that Angela Hill slightly fading. Not fading, but just a tad more than what Michelle Watterson was. Because you could tell that Michelle Watterson's energy kind of picked up in the 4th round, and it stayed there for the 5th round.
Yeah, it sure did. Yeah. No, it was impressive. I heard Dana White's comments after. He loved it. He was so happy that the girls brought it. Angela Hill was the very first black female to ever headline a UFC card. Kind of a cool milestone for her to always be able to say for the rest of her career.
Yeah, and actually, to be honest with you, a little bit surprised. I never considered that wasn't a thing, to be honest with you. So when I first heard that, I was like, oh, okay, that's quite monumental. And I'm kind of surprised it took this long for that to finally happen, because UFC's been around for quite some time. So, hey, good on her. Kudos to Angela Hill, because you fight like that, you definitely deserve a main card spot. Yeah, and she'll get it again for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she sure will. Yeah. The co-main event had Ottman Azaitar and Kama Worthy. Azaitar looked unbelievable. Really incredible performance. Only lasted a minute and a half, and he was given the victory. I was blown away how incredibly tough he was to Kama Worthy, who's an incredible opponent.
Yeah, he came out like a little ball of fury, and he was just a swinging machine. But within like the exchanges, like, because Kama's is like, I keep getting punched in the face, I better start punching back. He was within that exchange. He was actually slipping the punches and hitting him too at the same time. It was amazing to see. It really was. Like, Azaitar was as on point as I've ever seen any fighter within, like, fighting within a phone booth, so to speak, which is what he did. And he just kept throwing until Worthy fell down, and then that was it. That was the fight. Very impressive win. Very impressive.
Yeah, Kama was complaining that it was an early stoppage, but once he stood up and he started trying to walk around, he was really wobbly on his feet. He didn't look like he was completely stable. And that proved to me that it's probably a smart stoppage.
Yeah, you know what? Usually, hey, I appreciate every fighter. Every fighter has a warrior spirit. But if you can't walk in a straight line once you start complaining, then the fight should have been called. It was the right call to make. The ref did a great job in stopping the fight when he did.
Yeah. The fight before that was a women's flyweight fight between Roxanne Modafferi and Andrea Lee. Roxanne looked great. Decision victory. The Happy Warrior got her second win of 2020, and she's had a really good resurgence to her career in the last couple of years, and yeah, impressive performance there.
Yes, yes. It was a frenetic pace that both fighters set throughout the entirety of that fight. But Modafferi just seemed a step quicker than Lee, and just in their transitions and just first to the punch, first to the kick, that kind of thing. And that's what led her to the win. Great win by Modafferi.
Yeah. So there was controversy in the fight before that, light heavyweight fight between Ed Herman and Mike Rodriguez. I guess Ed Herman deserves a bit of a medal for his acting. Took a knee that looked like it went into his gut, into his midsection here, and he made the referee believe that it was a low blow. Gave him a lot of time to recover. He needed it. He was losing that fight and wasn't looking too good, and ended up coming back after that and having a huge win. What did you think of the controversy that happened there?
Oh man, yeah. You know what? It kind of told me they should have instant replay for stuff like that. That's what it told me. Like, a rule needs to be put in place that instant replay gets put in, because you can't cost a fighter a fight like that, because Rodriguez won that fight. He won that fight. He literally won that fight. And then I just found it funny where Ed Herman's like, well, I know I got hurt, but I don't know where I got hit. And I'm like, well, man, you knew where you got hit. You know where you got hit. That's bullshit, man. So anyways, yeah. Okay, great on Ed Herman to turn the tables and get the Kimura lock and all the, yeah, great. But it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have went down that way. I was mad. I was angry, but the ref is human. He's allowed to make mistakes. It's just that going forward, that knowing now that a situation like that can arise, maybe a rule needs to be put in place to allow instant replay. But again, that would be something that all the states would have to accept, and that would be an amendment to the change in the rules. And we know how that goes. So, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it happens. They always say, in the event of replay, the fight won't be able to be started if they have that in the rules in certain jurisdictions. But yeah, it makes more sense to, especially something like this. It's costing Mike Rodriguez a victory. Really lethal knees, had Herman in all sorts of trouble before that. Should get the win bonus. Should be able to, keep his record. He would have been at 12-4 instead of 11-5, and yeah, it's just really unfortunate. Ed Herman took advantage. Yeah, maybe there'll be something to change something like that, so we don't see that. I know Herman had a lot of troubles this year because a lot of fights had been postponed for him. So he really wanted to come in and have a good performance and get a win bonus and all that. But yeah, it felt like cheating to me, and it didn't sit right once you saw that he got that Kimura submission win. Yeah, it was really tough.
Yeah, and also too, like, I just with the way it all went down, I am just like you. It just didn't feel right at all. I don't know if it even felt right to Ed, because you could see that, post fight, he wasn't that jacked about the win. You know what I mean? He really didn't seem like he was like that. And also too, maybe they do it again. Maybe they have it again. But I think Rodriguez actually kind of got very injured off that Kimura. So it's going to take him a while to even get back into the ring. Yeah. And off a fight that he should have won. It's just, it compounds a lot with what actually happened, what transpired in the ring. So again, ref made a mistake, happens, but it did cost the fighter the win and everything else associated with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really too bad. Yeah, unfortunate. Hopefully we don't see something like that again. The fight right before that was a lightweight fight between Bobby Green and Alan Patrick. Bobby Green got his third win of 2020, has had really amazing resurgence to his career. He fought Clay Guida a few months ago and had a huge win. This is now his third win in the year, and yeah, he's also looking really fantastic. Nice to see Bobby Green having this career resurgence.
Bobby Green dominated this fight, start to finish. Didn't matter where it went. He had complete control of the fight. The only thing that he had to not do was take it too lightly, and that was it. Because I watched this fight obviously in its entirety, and I'm like, well, he's not threatened anywhere by this fighter, just not by anything at any point in time. Very, very dominant win by Green. Awesome stuff. Like I look forward to him. He's got to be getting close to fighting a top 10 guy in his division now. Got it. Has to.
He has to. Yeah, exactly. You're right. So we had a Canadian in the featherweight fight before that one. Kyle Nelson from Stony Creek, Ontario, fighting Billy Quarantillo, and it looked quite even fight in the first couple rounds. And I think Billy Quarantillo's corner said to him, "It's time to go knock him out in between the second and third round," and that's what he did. 7 seconds into the third round, he hit him with a shot that put Nelson down face first, and it was a walk-off KO victory by Quarantillo. Too bad to see the Canadian beat, but a very impressive knockout by Billy there.
Yes, and Billy's tough, man, because Nelson can punch hard, very hard. And so Billy just showed his chin, his toughness, and the fact that he did rock Nelson at the end of the second, kind of had him on dizzy street, and then basically in the third just stormed out and just said, "Now you go down." And then that's exactly what happened. Great win by Quarantillo. Great win, man. It was a very, very good fight.
Yeah, really great. Super impressive. Yeah. So turning to the prelim card, we had a women's fight between Sijara Eubanks and Julia Avila, and Sijara got the decision win. Yeah, another great fight. The third women's fight on the card, and I thought both of them looked great. But Sijara just had a little bit more and got the decision win.
Yeah, and Sijara was smart because she knew that she was getting beat on her feet by Avila. Avila was coming in with some ferocious punches and just wading through the storm. So Eubanks said, "You know what? Enough of that. Let's just get you to the ground. So that's where I can dominate on you." And it was just a classic. It's not working on my feet. I'm going to take you to the ground, and we'll go from there. And that's where Eubanks got her win, pretty much, in the grappling exchanges and stuff. So great win by Eubanks.
Yeah, definitely. She changed the fight by getting the takedowns, and very, very big win by her. So the fight before that was a lightweight fight between Roosevelt Roberts and Kevin Kroom, and Kroom was the biggest betting underdog on the card, and he was making his UFC debut. I think he got 1 day's notice for the fight, and came in and just rushed in to Roberts, hit him, sunk in a guillotine choke, and Roberts tried his best to get out of it, but no, he wasn't getting out of it. Had to finally tap after 31 seconds, and a massive win for Kroom. It was an incredible debut. Great to see him change his life like that.
Yeah, man. Kroom just said this: "I'm gonna bum rush this dude and see what happens." Oh, hey, would you look at that? I won. I won. This is great. No, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Like I think he dropped, like, dazed him with a left hook, and then when he locked up that standing guillotine choke, like, I didn't realize that Kroom's limbs were that long. Like, his limbs are gangly. Like, it was amazing how quickly he locked that thing up. And then with the way that Robert's neck was cranked, it's like, oh, no, buddy, you're not getting out of that. And then, yeah, tapped. Great win by Kroom. Great win, because I definitely did not have him winning that fight. No freaking way.
No. He said he had been waiting 13 years for this opportunity when he first got into the sport. He fights in a really good camp with James Krause and Grant Dawson. It was the fastest ever victory in a debut in lightweight history. Really incredible performance, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Kroom come out. Roberts has looked great this year as well himself, and I don't suspect this is going to put him too far backwards because didn't take a lot of punishment. It was just a quick fight, but yeah, really neat to see Kroom get that. He got the 50K win bonus as well, and yeah, he's gonna have solidified a really good position in the UFC for him.
Oh yeah, man, and I can imagine that he'll be like, yeah, Dana, get me another fight. I feel pretty good. You might see a quick turnaround by that dude. Honestly, you might see a quick turnaround because why not? You didn't get hurt. He got the win within a very, very short amount of time. You might see him again very quickly.
Yeah. The heavyweight fight right before that with Alexander Romanov and Roque Martinez, two guys that definitely need to tone their bodies up quite a bit. And yeah, Martinez doesn't look like he's in good shape at all. Obviously, tough guy, but King Kong Romanov came in, got his 12th victory without a defeat. And man, that ground and pound lasted a long time. It was just constantly on and on and on and on. And he wasn't getting the finish, but finally he was able to later on. But yeah, what'd you think of that fight?
Well, King Kong smashed him on the ground. Like he was like, and then he kept looking at the ref going, "Oh, really? You want me to keep punching this guy? Okay, I'll just keep punching until eventually, hopefully, you call the fight." But I will give it to Martinez. Super tough. He did roll. He did cover up. He did everything that the ref was asking him to do. But at the end of the day, you know what? Romanov just kept on his game plan. He stuck with it, took him down again, and just kept King Kong smashing him until the fight was over. Very dominant win by Romanov. Great win by Romanov.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so there was a catchweight fight at 165 before that. Jalen Tarantula Turner against Brock Weaver. Tarantula, wow, did he ever look impressive? Many knockdowns of Weaver, just really dominant rear naked choke before there was finally a tap out. Just 2 days notice he found out about this fight. He had a few fights changed and canceled because of COVID as well, but he went in there. Impressive kickboxer, 100% finish rate for his 10 victories, and yeah, Jalen Turner looked great.
Yeah, he looked great against a very tough and game opponent in Weaver, and his striking was just superior. Period. It just was. It was just that much better than Weaver's. Brock was game. He tried to take him down. His takedown defense was fantastic as well. And eventually the knockdowns added up, the damage added up, took him down to the ground, and then he got the submission win for a kickboxer. Pretty impressive stuff. Great win by Turner.
I only saw the tail end of the Brian Barberena Anthony Ivy fight. Heard it was a great fight, and yeah, Barberena ended up getting the decision win. Anything you want to make comments about that fight?
No, I was the same as you, and you know what, Brian Barberena, very tough guy in his division, and great win by him. A great win by Barberena for sure.
Yeah. So great card as a whole, as usual. Some of these lesser cards, still produce a lot of really fun fights, and we saw some great submissions, great knockouts, and the main event was something to remember for sure. A really great 5-round battle between those two girls, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I'm looking forward to more performances from a lot of those people on that card. And next weekend, we've got Colby Covington and Tyron Woodley being the main event, UFC Apex. Yeah, we talked briefly about it last week. It'll be interesting to see Colby up to his old antics. And let's hope Tyron can put in a better performance than he has the last couple of times out, and we get a great main event.
Well, I don't know how Tyrone couldn't get amped for this fight, because Colby's going to do something to really piss him off. He's going to do something to tick him off so much that he's like, man, I got to rip this guy's head off. I'm sorry, but it has to happen. So for me, I look at this fight like this. If he doesn't perform the way that we know he can perform, if he doesn't get amped for this fight because of Covington's antics, which will be ludicrous, ridiculous in scope, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say, man, because he's going to do stuff to definitely get under Tyrone Woodley's skin, and he's going to stay there. He's going to stay there like a freaking like maggot or a bug. Like it's going to be just that ridiculous. Like just all the stuff that he's going to do to Tyrone. So I expect Tyrone to actually come out and actually have a very good showing of himself in this fight.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, you're right. I think we're gonna finally see the old Tyrant come back. As he'll definitely be angry at Covington's antics, and yeah, I hope we see a great performance. It's amazing that it's a fight night. There is a lot of really good fighters on this card. Donald Cerrone is the co-main event against Nico Price. We get to see Khamzat Chimaev face Gerald Meerschaert, and Meerschaert is saying that he's going to smash Khamzat, who's been saying I'm going to smash everybody and make my way to the middleweight title. So I'm looking forward to that fight a lot. It's going to be fun between those two guys.
Yes, that's going to be fun. And then also too, co-main event will probably be the best fight of the night. Got two action fighters. You got two guys that just go, well, I just throw down. I just throw down. And so that's exactly what those two guys are going to do. They're going to throw down. It's going to be awesome. And you're probably going to see some weird, unexpected knockout because Nico Price is in there. And that's what he does. He does these weird knockouts that you never see coming. And you're just like, I don't know how he did that. That's amazing. Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Mackenzie Dern against Ronda Marco, Holland, Darren Stewart, which is a great fight. And on the prelims, we've got Mirsad Bektic heading the prelims. You go down the list, and there's a lot of really great fights on this card. So, it'll be fun. We're looking forward to it. A 5 o'clock start on Saturday. So, man, I'm glad we can do this. I'm sorry that we couldn't do it yesterday, but I'm glad we were able to do it this evening. And nice to be able to talk some football, basketball, and UFC with you. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, man, it was awesome. And it's awesome that we do actually have the opportunity to talk about all three of those sports at this point in time. That's great. That's great, man. So it's been a pleasure as always, my friend, and I can't wait to do the next one next week.
Sounds great. Okay, Jason, enjoy your evening and have a good week ahead. We'll be in close contact, I'm sure.
All right, you betcha, buddy.
Okay.
See you later.
All right, see you. Bye for now. Okay, well, we might as well just end really quickly. Appreciate Jason Cameron's time. As always, a lot of great insight and a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed as much as I did. And he's right. It is a really spectacular time in the world of sports these days right now. We get to see so much going on. I've got 4 TVs in my studio here, and I can keep my eye on so much of the sporting events that are going on. A couple of laptops and my phone, and feeding me a lot of this sporting information. It's so much fun. Really enjoying this. Let's hope the smoke clears really soon around here and across the western part of the U.S. and Canada, and we can get back to being outside without harming our health. Thanks so much. Enjoy the week ahead, and keep tuning in to Complete Sports Media. Go to our website. Support us as much as you can, please. Really appreciate it a lot. So take care of yourself, and we'll talk to you very soon. Bye for now.